Is it?
I think you'll hate it.
Because I gotta like move it in and out and shit.
Mm-hmm. Like it's
We're talking about a boat, or if we're getting right into this.
Howdy, partners.
Hey, hello.
Aloha.
It's the Variate podcast, first one in a while. More of a long form. We're here with Noah Lampert, our dear friend.
The one and only.
The one and only.
Hello.
For episode 250, we wanted episode 250 to feel like something, so.
It's a 250,000.
Yeah.
We reached a 250,000?
No one says that 250,000.
No.
It's not a term.
There's no one else that we'd rather spend our 250,000 episodes
quarter
with.
grand.
To have him honored.
Motherfucker owes me a $250,000.
Yeah, except no one says that. That's great. I'm gonna start saying that.
Yeah, you're the perfect person because I think you're our most often had-on guest, and you know.
It's good times.
Yeah.
I've had some funny times for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had some wild ones.
Did I see you backstage at Ween?
Yes.
Okay.
You did.
All right.
Yeah, and honestly, I was thinking about you with that, and I was like, this is really like evidence of, Noah's what Noah preaches, what Neville Goddard preaches, what all the great masters know about is your thoughts and your intention and your imagination creating this reality for you, because what the fuck, dude? You know how much we worship that band.
I'm well aware. I saw what was happening.
And it's just, it's such a, I don't know. It was so surreal and it was happening so fast. I didn't believe it was happening. And it's like, in those moments, you really have to put your faith to practice too. Like, I'm here. This is a culminating moment right here, motherfuckers. Like, let's be aware, like breathe it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to meet Dean Ween and fucking hang out backstage and like shoot at this concert and just do whatever we wanted. It was like surreal and amazing.
That's awesome. I knew it was only a matter of time before
Yeah.
there was a physical meeting. It felt inevitable. Like it just seemed.
Yeah.
You put that much energy in that type of way towards anyone.
Love.
Yeah, love. And you'll resonate.
We are
and
devotees of
Yeah.
the Boognish and
Yeah.
everything.
And that's clearly how shit works.
Oh, our best example of this is the time that Sean and I, bought tickets to the Rolling Stones because we were like, we have to see them in our life. And we made a decision, like, because Sean had said, like, if I don't go to the Rolling Stones, like, I don't know what my life is, like, who I am or what life is about if I don't do this. And
So
it's
that's
like,
a lot of pressure on Cass to come through for a boy.
You got to do this
Yeah.
shit.
yeah, like, I'm going to
And
question
they're
my whole
old.
life.
They could have died at any
I know,
moment.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
And so he's like, we'll be really fucked up if we don't go. And so it's day of, it's been like kind of a stressful day, whatever. And we decide last minute to go, which of course Rolling Stones tickets last minute is a lot of money. But later that week, so we had an amazing time.
We're
at
at
the show.
Madison Square Garden.
They were at
Giant Stadium.
Giant
Giant
Stadium. And we had great
Stadium.
seats. It was like in the middle.
Fucking 80,000
The
people.
Meadowlands?
Yeah.
Wow.
We did the whole like, oh well, we don't have kids, so we can justify spending $800
Yeah,
to see
who
the Rolling
cares?
Stones or
Whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then within that week, our friend was like, yo, I'm hosting a private show with Cage the Elephant and Spoon and Beck. And it was a fucking 200-person event. And we got to see like all these bands that we
Wow.
love
For free.
very up close and personal for free.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it just felt like the gods being like, we know you are devoted to music. And
Yeah, you get rewarded in any way if you really put that out there. I wasn't surprised, but pleasantly amused to see that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's we talk about this all the time. It's like, what gods do you serve? Whether it's consciously or unconsciously, because the gods you serve are going to be answering your prayers. And if you're serving just constantly the gods of anxiety and worry and distress, like those prayers are getting answered, because
Yeah,
they
those
hear you
gods
loud
are
and clear.
powerful too.
Right? They are.
Yeah.
They seem almost more powerful than,
Yeah.
like.
There
Yeah.
can be gripping, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, what gods do you serve in terms of like, like I feel like when we smoke weed, we're serving kind of a certain kind of God that is like, we're asking for a chiller life and a slower, more expansive perspective. Like we're trying to serve those gods, and
Weed is good.
weed's definitely.
Weed is good. I've loved to see. That's another one in like this reality's a little too on the nose for me. It's like not only is weed legal now in New York, they're like finding out more and more about how good it is for everything, like the environment, for our bodies. It's like, geez, tap the brakes a little
I
bit.
know.
The
Like,
funniest thing is when the pandemic first started, and it was like things that are good for preventing COVID, and it was like ketamine.
Ketamine and
we
weed.
had just started doing
Weed,
ketamine a little more
nicotine.
regularly, and we're just like, what is going on? This is too weird.
You guys haven't had COVID, right?
No,
Not
no,
yet.
never got
Knock
it.
on wood.
You know, and I have to say, like, we were all three of us really good about it during like the main quarantine time. Like, we didn't see anybody. You didn't see anybody.
Nope.
When we met is when we all started coming out of our shell, which would have been a year ago. And it's kind of crazy we haven't gotten it in that time. Because we played it loose.
You have to be like,
I'm immune.
I think you have to be in a state where you're not aware of, like, I was talking about this with Denise, like, where you have to, like, your body responds to your awareness of something being out there. And so, like, that alone can protect you and, like, raise your immune system to, like.
Yeah.
So do you feel like when you got COVID, you knew it was happening and you let it happen?
No, I literally got off of a plane from Turkey, traveled the whole world. I went to the Bahamas, went to Turkey before. I was all over the fucking place. Never got COVID. Got off the plane the next day, picked up my kids, found out they had COVID that day. So I tested them because I rapid tested them. Then I had to isolate for 10 days. The 5th day I tested positive. And, like, honestly, like, I know I'm not diminishing how serious it can be for some people. My dad got it too. He had it less bad than me even. Barely lost his smell for like a day or two. On a scale from 1 to 10, let's say the flu is like 6 or 7 in terms of severity. I'd put what I had with COVID, which was probably Delta at the time, 1.8, 2.1. It was literally like, I was like, this isn't even, I would have gone, if I had a job, I would have went to work. And like, so it
That's
wasn't
what's
bad.
tricky about it, because it's not severe symptoms for most people unless you have an underlying condition.
No, you have to be real. And I was trying to like make the point, and you guys definitely are even healthier. Like, you have to be almost purposely unhealthy, which a lot of people are in this country. Don't get me wrong, but like, you really need to be either very old or very unhealthy, I think, to probably end up in a danger zone. I think we forget that a lot of these people, and I've known more people who've died of this, not personally, in the past couple of months than probably the previous year behind that. So it's not that people aren't dying. I just think like they're, I don't know.
Probably more now because people aren't being as cautious, you know?
I know it's ripping through the city. I made you guys do rapid tests like a weirdo. I
Joe Rogan style.
Joe Rogan style, exactly, to gain entry.
Felt very official.
It did.
But it's a thing, but I think it's probably the same thing it was from the beginning, which is some people, a very small percentage, really fucks them up.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of the people, you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
And that's like an uncomfortable thing, but there's a lot of things in life that I feel like are like that. And I don't know, we're going into year 3, right?
Fuck.
I don't know how much juice they got in these things. I don't know. If it was like the plague, I get it. Like if people's like skin is boiling and bubbling off and like it's wiping out 30% of the population, then I'm like, all right. But having had it, and like you deal with the fear of having it when you have it. I didn't smoke weed.
I was about to say, I think that's like the biggest factor. Like, yes, people are destructive in their habits, but I think with viruses specifically, more than any other medical condition, there seems to be like an intense factor of like your thought form and the fear around it and how that develops and envelops you.
It's a big part of it for sure. And that seems to be what I thought was the main thrust of what COVID was, because
then you just let it. Those are the narratives that you invest in, because those are the ones that you hear about.
Of course,
you know,
that's what I think
go
is
to the
killing
worst
people.
place, you know,
it's a horrible take. No one likes it, but I really think that is the power. Like, if it's your destiny to get taken out by a virus, you're not skirting that. Number one,
right?
Number two, it's probably not your destiny to be taken out by a virus. Like, it's just, I don't know. I hope it teaches people something about their mind, body, soul connection, because it may take things like this to really get people to understand that. I'm certainly taking more supplements and homeopathic stuff than I ever had. It made me more aware of things I could be doing that were better for my body.
Yeah.
On the same token, like, I got better eating fast food. Like, when my appetite came back, I was like, I want Taco Bell.
Hell yeah, mate. That sounds great.
You're making me want Taco Bell right now.
You guys are ridiculous. So we basically got fast food and brought it over here.
Oh, yeah.
Close. We're like
do.
10 degrees
We
from
got
fast
Champs.
food.
We brought Champs.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, so it goes both ways, but I feel like for the most part, if you have your fear in check, you're not like 80 plus.
Yeah.
Even if you are, you're probably okay. But like, you're not like really like unhealthy and 80 plus. You're probably going to be fine. Be safe. Don't expose people recklessly.
The problem is it just like fucks up your plans. Like, you know, you have plans to go somewhere or do things. And like, as people who like can't afford to be like, hey, sorry, can't make that shoot. You know what I mean? We just have to feel like we have to be a little more precautious right now.
And precocious.
Precautious and precocious. Yeah, exactly.
Precocious and precautious. Yeah.
Well, I think like, I mean, it's a great example because it's at the forefront of everybody's experience right now is like slaying the fear around COVID. Because I think it's going to make you a less reactive person and maybe more responsive and thoughtful. But it's like, how do we apply these lessons to like the women in our lives and relationships and those kind of things? Is because like when you see that fear running the show could fucking end with you in a hospital, you know, hooked up to ventilators. Like, wait, where else is fear running the show in my life? Where else? What are the other aspects of my life where I'm most reactive? And how do I begin to, you know, use the tools that I gained through COVID to those parts of my life?
That's smart.
That's kind of what I'm always like looking for, like the as above, so below thing. Like if something applies in one aspect of your life, most likely it's going to apply in other aspects. And if things feel out of alignment in one aspect of your life, there's a way to bring them back by probably using tools where they feel in alignment in other parts of your life.
Yeah.
COVID's a motherfucker. Whatever. I had it. It's fine. It's not going to kill you. It's just you go through the little thing where, like, I didn't smoke weed until I was, like, testing negative. So, like, my dad was, like, smoking cigarettes and smoking weed, like, the second day of having COVID.
Funny.
He's, like, old
They said
diabetes.
that smoking cigarettes could maybe help you.
Yeah, you push it down.
You
push the stuff down.
burn the virus out. I think it's more the
Jesus.
fuck it attitude.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the cigarette smokers have a fuck it attitude,
That's
and
what
so
it
they're
is.
not as attached to a timeline of
what about
whatever.
I don't really want to talk about this anymore, but whatever. What about all those people who are like, it's not real, it's not happening, and then it's like, and then they die. And
How many people are there like that?
They're
though?
so scared that they have to pretend.
It's not
they have
real.
to inhabit a world where this isn't real. They're that scared, so that the fear is like comes for them like a fucking tsunami.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's all just like building up. It's just like,
Totally. Because that's their like reactionary.
yeah, you're like
habit or whatever.
anyone I see that's in that camp still 2-3 years into this.
like
thing,
it's not real or whatever.
No one
I'm like
thinks
you're
that
the
now.
most scared of
Yeah.
anyone.
No one thinks
Yeah.
that. Even if they think it's made by the government or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
no one thinks
it's not real.
I mean, it
real.
was.
Like everyone knows people who's got people who've gotten COVID. It's just that I think that people are now debating the severity of what COVID is or what we'll tolerate in order to like live sort of normal lives. Like I know if you go to the city now, if you don't have your vaccine thing, you can't go to a restaurant. Like that's a fucking rule.
I know.
Even for
It's
a
pretty
Eli
bad.
who's 5.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, and like beyond COVID, there's so many things that are rising as far as diseases in our country, like diabetes and all of these other things.
Well, that's also weird.
Cancer and like every year it goes up so much.
Yeah, the weirdest thing to me, and we don't have to talk about it after this, is when de Blasio was encouraging people to get vaccines where he's eating
Free French
hamburgers
fries?
and French fries and pizza.
What?
And I'm
the
like, bruh,
fuck.
like
So
you
backwards.
probably are gonna die from those things.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is my reward. I'm like, that's not. Don't do it like that. Like, I get it. I like those things too, but like, that's not the.
We want everyone to go out slow and painfully
Yeah.
with all the horrible fucking diseases.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's like, you know, we could debate like is this real? The vaccines, this and that. The reality is, and I think what hopefully people will really wake up to and lead to a revolutionary moment is, we got fucking robbed blind. The fucking treasury was looted by the elites. This disaster was used perfectly across the board, and we've just normalized 1 million people in this country dying. We normalized people living without health insurance. We've normalized like all of this, just like beyond belief, judgment and negativity, and just being robbed blind by the elite. Like that's just I think that really needs to be like the narrative that people settle on, especially the working class. It's like, look what just happened to us. Look what they distracted us with fear. And I think it's always healthy for people trying to see what's going on is to take a look at the media narrative versus what their reality feels like. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about. If you turn on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News, you will be fucking scared shitless about this disease, or virus or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, if you look around and you just fucking take in the evidence that you can feel, it's not that fucking crazy.
I don't think so. I saw what convinced me that COVID was bad in New York City was TikTok, because there was like every third TikTok would be like some young, 20, 30 something being like, yo, all my friends who are vaccinated and got the booster have COVID right now. Like literally people were making spreadsheets and I'm like, that's weird.
Holy shit.
So I was like, all right.
It's not good press.
No.
And it was just like, for me, I was like, I trust these people who like, why would they make this up?
Oh,
They're
yeah,
clearly,
totally. They're
And like
just
then I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
all
how I
right.
am too. You got to see who has a horse in the race. If someone doesn't have a horse in the race, I'm more inclined to trust that person, just in general.
Yeah, and like I don't know. The media is the media. I try to just pay attention to Dolphins games. How about those Dolphins?
I can't trust ideologues, and when I feel that emanating off somebody, I just like my trust factor with them goes way down. Because it's like you're serving something that has nothing to do with this moment right here. You're serving a convenient story that you've told yourself to make the world make more sense for you. But when I feel like, I'm dealing with somebody who's like, gotten pulled into some religiosity or politics or fucking whatever fanaticism, my trust factor, they're not a good trustworthy ninja to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's scary to have free thought in a world and stand on your own.
Exactly, because
It's
you're
a
risking
process
not
for
being
people.
accepted.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the biggest fucking things I think we all struggle with, whether we admit it or not. It's like, are we being accepted here?
Yeah.
Do we feel at home?
Everyone wants to feel like that.
It's kind of like crypto. You just have to like pay attention and make the best decision for yourself, because what's right for someone else might not be what's right for you.
It should be like that with
No.
everything.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean there's no consensus. People will still agree about things and agree together in groups, but it's usually not a good idea to be swayed by someone else thinks exclusively. You can factor it into what you believe, but I don't know. I see it on both sides. It's just weird, and we all do it in our lives, whatever's going on. We get like rigidly focused on a narrow perspective, and we can't even see that we're like in it, and like, so I try to be forgiving as possible, but I don't know. I don't feel so strongly about it anymore. I'm just kind of riding it out.
Well, I mean, the key is not feeling so strongly about anything.
That's where I'm trying to get.
That's the zened out place. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, you have to apply that to the hardest thing to apply it to. For me, it's this relationship. It's like, how do I do the thing I'm so good at doing, threading the needle in every aspect of my life, but these two can make me fucking insane in 1 second. Yeah. Because I care.
That's yeah, of course. That's
like,
how it works.
It's a very interesting dance. Like, and we were just saying this the other day, how like Ram Dass saying, oh, if you think you're doing good spiritually, go spend a week with your parents.
Family,
But it's like those kind of things. It's like those little litmus tests are like, are you really fucking with it? And like, for me, it's patience and reactivity. I don't do good with it.
For Noah, it's the same. You guys both have that Sag Moon shit.
Dude, when he was just before saying, before we started rolling, you're like, when I fucking know what's going on and I can't communicate it, but like, and what I get frustrated is I feel like I'm communicating it very well and very clearly, and no one's understanding.
Right.
You start to sound like an insane person.
Yeah.
Once you get that thought in your head, you're like, well, I basically am an insane person.
So might as well just roll with it.
Yeah, this is all coming out like shit. And I doubled down on that motherfucker that I hate. I really hate this part of me. And when I'm not him, it's so hard for me to imagine becoming that guy. That just like it's so hard for me to imagine that dude when I'm not him. But I slip into that character so easily.
Yeah, me too.
Based on reactivity. Like, he's an easier person to be when I'm, feeling down.
He feels right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm honor
The
that
truth
guy.
is, like, it really
Smoke
at the
one for
time
him.
it feels right, and like also, as bad as my delivery is, it's still not wrong, and like I'm almost always vindicated on that, because I think what you rely on is probably what I rely on, and it's not a holier than thou, and it's not that we don't fuck up. It's just ultimately you know you're a good person, whatever that means to you, how you would want to be treated, you try to treat people like that.
Yeah.
That's it. It's nothing more complicated about I'm do this, you don't do that. It's just, if that's the type of person you are, you should be able to trust that what you're seeing isn't solely based on ego or, you know, trauma or something like that. And I think that can lead to a very quick reversal. That's like a very I Ching thing. Like when it gets to its maximum, it flips back to its opposite.
Oh wow.
That's kind of like what I think happens in those moments. I would like to not be so reactive because it just ends up hindering and making it take longer for my perspective to be heard and honored usually. And that's
because people want to hear you. Like I think that people want to hear your perspective and they want you to trust that you heard them or something, you know.
Sometimes someone's perspective is very inconvenient to hear, and those are the moments where it can be difficult to kind of convey that effectively. But I mean, you know, I know for myself personally, if I can do a better job of having the option of not losing my shit, that would be good. That would be good.
God, yeah, man.
That would be good.
Well, you want to do the smartest thing and what's most effective. And if losing your shit is a big detour from you getting what you want, you probably want to
curtail that behavior.
That.
Yeah, that's what I basically think I've learned from my most recent experience, which have been very chaotic. But I do, all of these things always show me that it's always you. You're always in, I don't want to say control of the situation, but like you're very much a part of what is happening. You can't even blame, even when people are doing fucked up shit objectively, like you can't only blame them. That's like, that's wrong. Like that's what spun me out on DMT so much. Is I was trying to otherize the experience rather than integrating and be like, well, there's some resonance with what I'm going through to even experience that. Doesn't mean I'm the generative source of like all of it necessarily. It just means that like there has to be some resonance there. So I can't just be like, oh, these evil parasites got me and like, oh, it's just this person's energy. It's just there's components of that where you have to like honor that you're experiencing this hopefully for a functional reason. And if you can get to that, it usually moves you through the things.
Yeah, it doesn't really help to make anyone the demon in your life because they're so, like, life is so much more nuanced than that. And if you're just like, you're just bad, like, obviously from their perspective, they're not just bad. So if you can't compromise from the get-go, it's going to be a longer road to get to the middle ground, which is ultimately where you'll need to be. Yeah. Always.
But it's functional. I think all this stuff helps us experience what we inevitably want to experience.
Yeah.
Like that's all I think our lives are. It's just like attraction and aversion, not in like a mechanical way, but like what our lives are. We've hopefully moved towards things that we are attracted to and, you know, tried to develop the proper relationship with things that aren't fun or repelling to people. Like those, that's a normal thing for people to do in life. And I think that's all essentially we're doing, but there's a lot of factors and like thinking and feeling that goes into like figuring out what is right.
Yeah, we're kind of trapped in our astrology and the things that like our patterns, you know, there is like something to that and just kind of accepting the tendencies. And I think it's like less about me ever expecting someone else to change and like, okay, now I just need to change how I react to when that happens. You know what I mean? You really can only work on yourself and hold better space for someone who might be lashing out because I think often someone lashes out of fear, you know what I mean?
Or powerlessness, which is fear. Yeah, I mean, it's a wild world out there.
You know what would help me and for this is like some data. You know how there's like Fitbits? there should
data?
There should be one called like ShitFit that just like logs every time you fucking lose your shit. Because if I knew like, yo, dude, I lost my shit 4 times this week. Like, what was going on? What was going on astrologically? What was I eating? What was I smoking? Was I not? Like, just those little things would kind of help, you know? Shit fit.
That's actually not a bad idea. It would be helpful.
Well, can you imagine?
I'll keep track for you.
Can you imagine?
Trust me, every partner in life is keeping track of when all shit fits in.
Yeah, exactly.
You just don't have that insight.
Cass knows, but I don't. But can you imagine, like, I had 20% less shit fits this year. Like, damn, I'm doing pretty good. I must have made some good adjustments.
I would like to know when my shit fits happen astrologically.
Oh, totally. Well, Mare knows from a mile away. She's like, I knew you were going to have a rough day this day, you know.
I look at my oppositions for the next, 3 months. It's brutal. brutal. It's like, why? Why is this always there?
And it always checks out.
I try not to be too deterministic about it because I don't like the self-fulfilling prophecy. So when I look through it, I'm even mindful when I'm like scrolling quickly that this is getting imprinted on my subconscious. So maybe I just like leave it open a little bit that maybe this is going to be something related to growth. But it's pretty. It can be pretty on point sometimes. It's like scarily accurate.
Mare was talking about getting us like an almanac for the year based on.
Yeah, that's smart. Just to have like a preview and an idea. Like I said, I think you want to be careful so it's not like self-fulfilling or imprinting, but at the end of the day...
Well, what about when it's like good? Like today's a good day to have a meeting. Like where it's like, okay, today's a bad day to have a meeting. Doesn't mean you'll have a bad day. It's just like this is the day you don't schedule something important. You know, right?
Yeah, the electional stuff works. I've never been good enough at reading charts electionally to like ever do that. I know... You're good at it. My friend Kerry, who just hit me up today, is very good. She's been doing like 40 years or something. It's really useful when you can use it like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's really weirdly, even for the crypto stuff, like you're saying. I mean, this year, anyone who's been paying attention to crypto and has any connection to the moon knows what's been happening, which is fucking, it's just cratering on the new moons and going up on the full moons. And 4 years ago, it was the exact opposite. It was literally the opposite. And so I have no idea what, but it was like like you could set your clock to it. Like you put the phases of the moon up on the chart and it's like, so like who knows?
That's where you could really help slingshot us into another dimension.
Yeah.
You just got to believe however it's going to happen. Like I'm telling you with the crypto stuff, like you never know. Like I know people who made a shitload of money on Asscoin. You know, I did well on Time and other things, but like, it's just, you never know. You got to be open to all the weird shit. You got to be able to take some risk and tolerate some losses and probably get scammed. Like
I remember one time we came up here and you were like, I just lost $5,000 through a scam or something crazy.
Yeah,
and I was
I
like,
probably
oh,
lost
shit.
this year like 40, 50 grand in scams. But
Oh
like,
my God.
who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Like the amount that I mean, I don't care. Like
it's nothing.
It's not enough for me to freak out about, and like
It's not
trust
enough
me,
for you to get out of the game.
At that point, probably also like that was probably like 10% or like 8% of my what I had, so it wasn't nothing.
No, I know.
I just was like, I don't think it's over. It's how I feel now.
Yeah.
It feels very much like the summer before everything popped off. Like I don't think it's over this cycle yet. It will be for sure, and we're probably not going to think it's then either, but I don't think it's now. I think there's one more weirdly parabolic manic phase where it's just going to be like, oh my God, we're all geniuses. Like, look, we did it. Then I think it'll slam down, but I don't think it's going to be as brutal as years past because we've hit a different level. And then, you just chill out and tread water until the next one happens, probably in 2-3 years, and hopefully you have more capital than you did going into this one, and that seems to be what works. Like that's literally what it's working. Like
that's the cycle.
That's it. You just go through the cycles. It's pretty good.
Damn.
It'll work.
It works.
It will
Works
work.
if you work it.
It'll work. You just got to believe.
It works if you work it. That's what they say about AA, right?
Is that right?
That's what they say about the program. Yeah.
The guy with
That's anything.
I like the lighter thing.
Oh, lighter leash. You don't fuck around like that.
You need that. I've stolen your lighters, and you're good at keeping them.
Oh yeah, I try to keep them in my life.
Yeah, he really cares about
I have
them.
so many scattered about.
It's never fun when you can't find a lighter and you have a joint and you're like, well, this is just...
And then maybe you have matches. And
Yeah.
matches are not good.
This really comes in handy for concerts. Like it's like at a Ween show, like a 2.5-hour show. Like
Where
you're
did
out
you
there.
see them? Where was that?
Philadelphia. We were down at the Met in Philadelphia. It's like 3,500 seat theaters. Fucking beautiful. I
always
saw,
pass it, but I've never been.
Yeah, it's cool. It's we saw Bob Dylan there the week before.
It's a great place to see shows because they're a little cheaper there than New York City. I mean, then you have to the cost of parking or whatever it is and staying and whatever.
It's just a pleasure. It's just
But it's nice. It's fun.
Yeah.
Where do you stay in Philly?
We stayed at a weird ass Airbnb this time, but I don't know. Sometimes we stay in hotels.
It was really weird. It was like all like there was no check-in. It's all code. Like up to the elevator, it's an elevator code, and then to outdoors a code.
The robots.
We're thinking about getting a place down there eventually.
In Philly?
Yeah, like it seems like the type of place where we could go and live the dream. A lot of people think they can live in Brooklyn, but when you start looking at the prices, you can't. Like, I'm going to get a bigger place with a backyard, and it's going to be spread out. That's what we want, but it's hard to do that in New York
What's
City.
available there in Brooklyn where they even have that Park Slope?
I don't know.
What did
No.
It's all like millions and millions of dollars though.
Yeah.
Where in Philly you can get like the same bedroom layout set up for probably like $250,000 to $350,000.
Yeah.
So like a third of the price is
They
near.
have cheesesteaks there where you guys are vegan.
And they have a lot of vegan places.
They have a lot of
you know,
vegan places.
veganity has
It's only gonna
spread.
grow, so.
It's spread.
Yeah, veganity and sanity.
Veganity, veganity.
Yeah, if we can call in another vegan chef to open a good vegan restaurant in Philly,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
we'll be your
Yeah.
favorite customers.
Yeah, totally. We'll hype your shit.
Yep.
I've been watching a lot of It's Always Sunny. I watched that one.
Open to
at COVID.
sponsors.
Oh,
It's
that's
such a
one of the
good
funniest
show.
fucking
I
shows
can't believe
ever.
it's been on so long, but it's still funny.
Yeah.
It's really. It's
Is
really,
it still on?
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
season 16
no
or some shit.
fucking
Yeah.
way. That show is still. They must
That's
look
why
so
I started
old.
watching. They don't. They still look kind of good. I mean,
look
they
pretty
look
good.
old compared to 15 years ago. But yeah, no, it's still rocking and still really funny. And I was shocked. I picked it up and I think I had seen up to 10 or 11, and I just binged it, and it was really good.
Shout out to those guys. They're fucking genuinely hilarious
So
and have pushed
funny.
the boundaries. And I think they made their pilot episode for $600 or something like
So
that.
I love
good.
that Danny DeVito, is that who's in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he saw the show and was like, I want to be in this show. And
They were
That's
going to
how that happened.
cancel
Years
it.
later.
They were going to cancel it, and then they put him on, and then everything started to click.
crazy.
Because it was he was the missing. He didn't come on until season 2 or something, 3. But yeah, that show is great. It's really funny.
Have you seen anything else that's good?
I've been rewatching The Sopranos.
Ooh.
And I watched
damn,
it-
You know how often I'm tempted to do that?
Me too. And it was probably the 4th or 5th time where I really thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And so I started to do it, and it was fucking better than I remembered it. It's weirder in the beginning because you don't it's feels like an old show because we
Yeah.
forget how much that show kind of shaped how shows were made from then. So it's weird, but then you get into oh yeah, this is the dopest show ever. It's
Yeah.
so fucking cool.
Funniest show.
Every character is hilarious. Everything is
We tried to rewatch it once, and then we got to the part where Christopher's doing heroin, and we're like, this is too dark, and we turned it off.
it gets really dark.
It gets
yeah,
really
when,
dark.
when he takes heroin and
When he
then
sits on
sits on her
Cosette-
dog, that is actually fucking hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It's
What-
really
did you
good. He
watch
kills
all-
her dog by just sitting on it. He's strung out on heroin.
That's crazy.
Did you see The Many Saints of Newark?
I didn't see it because I read so many bad things about it that I didn't want to watch until I forgot that I read bad things about it because I didn't want to be
Yeah.
influenced.
I think it's
Yeah.
good to go in with low expectations, but I think it's worth a watch for sure.
It's cool that it's his son, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I was never a Sopranos lore guy. I didn't.
Yeah, who
I was
cares?
barely paying attention the first time around. I was young, so
Yeah.
now it's a little more. Junior's such an asshole from
Yeah.
the beginning. Him and his mom, Tony's mom, are such fucking assholes.
Yeah.
They're characters in this movie
Yeah,
I'm talking
they're in the
about.
movie, but the movie's not that good.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So,
So
anything else?
it's a shame. The Lil Peep documentary is really good.
We're a couple of years late to that, but it's good for sure.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm a little late to Little People. I started watching the Beatles thing.
Oh, Get
Oh,
Back was great.
dude.
Yeah, I didn't finish it, but it's long.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool footage. It's interesting to see their dynamic. It's more multi-dimensional view of them as artists, which I hadn't seen. That's cool.
Have you been working on music lately?
I've been gathering music equipment.
Good.
No,
I know your studio is starting to look like very a fish.
It's definitely getting
You
there.
know.
When the monitors come,
The rug really set a new vibe.
the
Yeah.
rug. I mean, I haven't seen that rug on
Come
drugs,
on.
but it's gonna
It's
be a good
really
drug
dope.
rug.
It's a great drug rug.
It definitely is. It's got some deer on it and other decorations. Yeah, no, I haven't been, but I was re-listening to a bunch of shit I had made last year and the year before, and I'm like, oh yeah, I actually have the time and space somehow to actually do this, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I just got that Prophet in today. It's fucking super dope.
Wow.
That'll be fun.
Synthesizer. Yeah, it's really nice.
That's why, when you feel the spark and call to make music, you really got to do it because it's not always there, you know?
You forget that sometimes when it's flowing so easily, and you're
Right.
I can't do any wrong. It's so easy, and then something happens, and you're like, oh yeah, shit. It's
Yeah.
not as easy as I remember it being. I actually have to but I mean, I do think like music, like anything, like you have to devote a certain amount of energy to sustain and continue to do it. Luckily, it seems to be one of those muscles that like you don't have to work out. Like you can go back and like instantly get back into it.
Yeah.
But you have to cultivate the time and the space to actually be able to like be in that mindset. And if you're not, I don't know, I'm not a fan of forcing stuff. I just wonder if I take it too far and don't like push when I should be. But like ultimately, I have so much shit going on in my life. Like I don't even get the second to think about that shit. It's like I got to do this now. Then when I have some time, I'm sure it'll be right for the music and other things.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's been inspiring to see Mare's practice like up close for a year now. It's like, I guess the inspiration comes and goes, but you're going to sing every day no matter what.
It's good to have a habit like that.
Yeah, it's just like you practice every day, whether you're inspired or not, like whether it feels like you have to fucking
You can always
drag your sorry ass to do it or not.
It's like your exercise.
It's,
like,
yeah.
You have to you have to do it.
Mhm.
Like you just have to do it if that's what you want to be
Yeah.
doing. If that's how you want to feel and that's what you want to be a part of your life, you have to do it.
I wish there was something like that I could do for my filmmaking. You know what I mean? Like filmmaking is just like, I'm going to do this big thing, and then you rest, and then you do this big thing. Like I wish there was. It's kind of putting out a daily podcast. I guess is kind of like that.
You're doing plenty.
Doing something over and over again, and
exercise is universally helpful.
oh my gosh, yeah. Across the board.
I'm like trying to figure shit out with me and Sean the other day, and Mare was just like, he just needed to go for a run. Like we're looking way too far into this. You know, it's like some energy came out on you that should have just come out like on the pavement.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much I forget that like I will notice myself getting way more agitated and riled up if I'm not getting it out physically somehow.
Yeah.
Especially men.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're all wild out here.
We have to keep the energy moving, and
you got to testosterone out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to forget that sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of stuff you can do that's not that.
I know.
There's a lot of distractions that are just putting off the inevitable fucking shit fit you're gonna throw if you don't just go fucking sweat your ass off or whatever the hell it is you need to do.
I think now I'm about like setting the stage to make it as easy as possible for me to fall into habits I actually want to have rather than not. And I guess that's a luxury of being able to like afford whatever on like a whim, but I think it's more reflective of like I want this stuff like everyone has like a dream studio or a dream workout room or a dream movie set, whatever it is. Like everyone has that, but to actually really feel yourself in that situation and let it like emerge. And it doesn't have to be because you buy it. You could just find yourself in like a dope studio. You could it's like whatever. It's not about
Noah
that.
does have a new treadmill.
I did get a new treadmill.
That's really nice.
And I used it today for the first time. And it's like I was like, fuck, I'm really gonna use this shit. They were making fun of me, the people who put it in, like Denise Helper, because they're like, we install these for like all these rich people and they never use it. It's like a clothes hanger. And I'm like, yeah, I feel you. But like I actually like I used the shit out of that bike before. I'm like, I don't want to do this.
I think it's good. You like when you're alone and it's just like can become part of your routine. You're like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, whatever you
totally
watch.
The Sopranos. And like the thing is like sometimes in the middle of the night, if I'm here alone, which is not that often, but if I am, maybe at 1 a.m, because I have energy then, I want to go for a fucking run.
Yeah.
I can do that now. Like,
that is pretty fucking
And it's like,
rad.
I know that sounds weird, but like sometimes I have weird bursts of energy in the middle of the night. I'm like, all right, I wish I could exert this without like.
Oh, I wish we had a fucking treadmill. I'd be on that thing every day, especially this time of year.
I like when you go to a hotel and you can just like run it out.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just do fucking, because it goes for you. All you have to do is decide to get on this thing and try not to fall off.
Yeah.
And it really does the work for you. Like
you won't fall.
You just gotta lift your feet.
You just gotta lift your feet.
Like it's really not a lot. You just gotta go with it.
I like it. I like running though. Some people don't like it. I found I liked it like a few years ago.
I love it. I think the treadmill watching something experience is very different from what I think of as running. When I think of running,
like
it's
out.
like out, no, just raw. Like
it's a whole different.
That's
thing.
how I
close as
normally do it.
and just
That's how I normally do it. But when it's winter,
not
an option. I'm not gonna do that
you know
shit.
how dope that sounds? Like just watching The Sopranos and fucking. I'm just gonna run this whole episode.
My favorite thing to watch when doing a treadmill is basketball because they're always running back and forth on the court.
Yeah, keeps you
Yeah,
inspired.
I'll do that with football this Sunday. That's yeah. Life is good. I mean, I can't complain. I think I don't know about other people, but there have been enough rough patches in 2021 for many years to come. I don't think I need that many challenges and obstacles and changes lumped into one period of time on the calendar.
You're
Oh,
good.
dude,
You
this
want to
is
just
a-
tell 20. We're around the just about the new year. We just want to say like 2022. We had enough in 2021.
Chill out. Enough of this.
Prayer of protection for 2022 and like
And beyond, just like enough of this. I knew
Yeah.
2021 was going to be a doozy. I
Yeah.
will say that. It felt like a lot. Like I will say that 2022, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think the general vibe is that the good parts are going to be much better than 2021, but the bad parts are also going to be worse.
Great.
So
That sounds can we just keep it like this then? I don't need that. I don't need more good.
I mean, I probably had the most best days of my life in 2021. But looking back in retrospect, very weird. Very strange fucking kind of in between purgatory year that we were able to have like these like bursts of like really feeling like family, community, artistic, creative, you know, this and that, but then also like lulls where I'm literally like backstage with Ween and fucking hanging out with Kurt Vile and making movies and like I'm just like ugh, you know, because it's
You
so
didn't feel that
hard.
way that night.
No, not that night, but like no, it's just so hard to envision a future where things are kind of like stable. Like this has been such a crazy upheaval these past couple of years that like I don't really I'm not hinging it. I'm not having
it's a
too
test
much
of
hope.
faith.
Yeah, in a way. And it's like
A lot of that.
It's waiting for the other shoe to drop type of feeling. It felt like this whole year, you know.
I got enough shoes that dropped.
Oh, dude,
They all
you-
dropped. I'm like, all right, let's pick these
Dude.
fucking shoes up. Some of these shoes need
Well, this
to
is
be-
why you got new shoes, and you're gonna do so much running in these.
Yeah.
I like them. I like them. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Yeah, new shoes, running shoes.
More Fitbit, less shit fits.
No,
That's a
we
good
want the
slogan,
shit
Cass.
fit
Very good.
Fitbit
They should
to track
sponsor you.
the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That is a good idea. I would like to think that would make me get better, but I think it would just be
Well, if
disheartening.
if this invention existed, then you're just one step away from like doing what they have for like people like my sister with epilepsy, where they have something that knows it's coming and then it neutralizes that signal. So they have this thing called the vagal nerve stimulator that they'll hook up to someone with epilepsy, and like if they can detect a seizure, they can send a signal to the brain that just neutralizes. it,
yeah, I
which
call
doesn't
that
happen.
I call that weed.
That's basically.
No, but in the moment,
weed-
it's really hard to remember to say like do something, take
Hey,
something.
smoke
Like
weed.
we have something called Ghost Pipe that's really good for like anxiety supposedly, and like I just forget that it's something I have in my tool belt. You know, it's always so hard when you're in the heat of
When
the
you're
moment.
angry, I don't even think of weed as an ally. I don't even like. I'm like, no. It's because that part of you, that ego, it's like,
Doesn't wanna
I'm thriving right
relinquish
now.
it.
It doesn't
Yeah.
want to relinquish its power. It barely has any power to begin
That's when
with.
I get the angriest is when I haven't smoked weed, and it's not because I'm not smoking weed. It's because that can help you mitigate some of these thoughts and feelings that maybe don't need to get taken to sub extreme. Now, on the flip
Yeah.
side is if you really are out there and feeling and thinking those things, it can exacerbate it too. So I don't
Cass was saying that to me the other day.
it totally can make. I mean, I know people. You know, if they're dwelling and ruminating on something and then they smoke weed, it amplifies,
Forget
you know, their
about it.
paranoia or concerns or whatever it
Yeah.
is. So it does cut both ways. But I do find it harder to stay in an agitated state of mind if I'm high. Like, if you take an edible, like, good luck.
Try holding on to your bullshit
Yeah,
through
it's going to
that.
be pretty
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
You'll just be on a ride of your bullshit. You don't
Yeah.
have to pay attention to it. You just it goes by so fast. You're like,
Well,
"Whoa."
well, that's the gift of weed. It'll just take you in and through it. If you're a fucking paranoid person and you smoke this, it's gonna just take you in and through that shit. It's like, okay, you want to feel like the extreme edges?
people
of-
don't like that.
No, well, it's a plant that's asking you to listen.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Listen. I'm not arguing
It's
with
a
that.
lot.
There are some people who are very averse to it for that reason. I think, and people who I think are very like well composed and like aware of shit too. I just think ultimately, you gotta like want to really go there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why my mom hates it. She doesn't like relinquishing control to a plant that's making you like listen and feel more and not control everything with your personality and with, talking. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Weed.
Smoke weed, y'all.
Green Goddess Symphony.
Smoke weed.
Smoke weed every day.
Well, we did another podcast. This was good, right?
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Noah,
Two.
for being our 250th episode.
250,000.
And I feel like we've been kind of
Yeah.
on this journey together. I feel like we started podcasting around the same time, if
Yep.
not
Yeah.
pretty much. And
Right
I
at the
feel
same
like
time.
I think it's also how we became a lot closer friends. Like, it's been a portal to us
For
like, having
sure.
excuses to come hang with each other and everything. So it's been a pleasure, and we really appreciate you.
Yeah, I
Oh,
really
yeah.
appreciate you guys.
Much
The
more to
best.
come.
Yeah, for sure.
More adventures. And
to the
we'll-
next 3,250,000.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We'll have you on more episodes of the Come Up,
Yeah, we should
The lights,
definitely do that
Yeah.
sometime soon. It's so close. It's easy.
Yeah, and we want to get into live streams. We think that would be really fun to come up
Yeah.
here and like do a Sunday live
It's
stream with you.
really easy.
I know you know how to do all that shit.
I just got the computer that can finally do it now too, because my other one was struggling. But yeah, it's good. I think it's gonna be more and more important for people
Yeah,
to like be comfortable doing that, because
yeah.
some
Feels-
people are, and not everyone is talking about the same stuff or providing that vibe, because like a lot of people go into streaming like to make money or to
Mhm.
like get popular or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that as a platform itself, it is interesting. I'm not like a huge metaverse person yet, but like I'm sure there will be some integration with like how
Yeah.
people portray themselves and like participate in like metaverse activities. But
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to have like a 3D, or is that what it's called? Just like a virtual reality
Avatar?
camera. Like podcasts
3D
that are
cap-
even like more
yeah,
interactive.
where
You know?
That'd be
like
cool.
you can project the holograms and stuff into the. Is that what you're talking
Or
about?
we just have like a fucking thing sitting here that's like a 360 camera, and someone could just throw on a VR thing and just feel like they're sitting in the room with us.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm sure that's already going on. If it's not, right
People,
around the
I
corner.
think, do it, but I think it's like still weird and hard to do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the thing.
I think the idea of someone else popping into your living holographically might be interesting.
I feel like that is what
Yeah.
they're moving to,
Yeah.
but yeah, it would be weird. Porn will be a thing where they do that.
Totally.
You just watch some people fuck on your table here.
That's like what I was just imagining. Like that's what's gonna be.
That's
There's
pretty
gonna be
wild.
people. I had a friend who got the Oculus around the same time I did, which I used for like 3 weeks and never used again. But he would watch the porn in it. He's like, "You gotta check out the porn. You gotta check out the porn." And it's like not. It's like horror. It's like the porn I would never watch. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
highly produced,
yeah,
like
yeah.
fake tits, like just
Yeah, yeah.
totally like
Everything.
90s hard, like
Yeah.
it's insane. And you can look around and like the girls are there. I'm like, dude, I can't ever imagine using this. And he's like, no, I love it. It's really
Wow.
good. I'm like, wow.
It's a certain kind of guy that even talks to another guy about what they're jerking off to. You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, I don't volunteer the information. I'm not versed to it.
If
I
someone
just-
brings it up, yeah.
Yeah, but
like,
I don't volunteer
it's
the
like, what are we
information
talking about,
typically.
man?
Well, he was very impressed with it, and I did not share the enthusiasm.
He needed to tell somebody. And
He's
he's
like,
like,
"You gotta
you
check
look
this
like a
out."
fucking surf.
It's not my kind of porn, man. So,
Yeah, you look like you jerk off a
yeah,
lot.
do you check out? Check this out. Yeah, good times.
Cool, y'all. Well, join us on patreon.com/churchofchill for lots more content. There's so much fucking content on there at this point. I'm embarrassed that we're only charging $2 for it.
How are you only charging? What is
We're gonna
the
change
point?
that, so get on there.
There's
Yeah.
inflation. What are you
I know,
doing?
I know. Well, now it's hard to change the price point that we've already established
not.
it. But because it was more about like, let's just get more people to be our friends.
Well, and also
Like, we just want people on our Discord.
Well, we want to be accessible, but
Yeah.
if you feel like giving more, you can always give
And a-
more
We'll
to
take
support
it.
us.
a lot of
No,
people
you should
do, and to
charge.
those people, I
Definitely need
really appreciate it, because I
Yeah.
know who you guys are who send a little extra ducats every month, or a lot extra
Shane.
ducats. And
Thanks to Shane.
You should charge
Charlie
$5
Weston,
minimum.
everyone.
I think what we do is
That's
worth
me.
15 or 20 a month, but
Yeah.
we'll still charge 2 for now. We might change our mind, but help us
You'd
out.
be surprised. People will pay more for things if you just ask them to. Especially you guys, like, I'm embarrassed. This is horrible. I charge, I think my lowest tier is $7.77.
I know.
This is what you get from me. You get access to the Discord. This is not a pitch for this at all. It's an anti-pitch. You get access to the Discord, which,
It's awesome.
is probably pays for itself.
Very
That's
valuable.
good. However, I don't do shit otherwise. I barely post. I was doing tarot stuff. I didn't do that in like 2 months. I was doing live streams. Haven't done that in like 3 months. I was doing Q&As. I missed the last one. Had to do it live on the actual podcast. I'm barely doing it, and people are like, they're free to leave. I make it very easy to leave.
Yeah.
I think people want to support people even if they're not really even doing anything at the time. That's what I discovered.
Oh, yeah. It means the world to us. I really do feel like, oh, my God. When someone joins
everyone's invited if you can do $2 or however much you want.
Yeah.
You know?
I say fuck the $2 people.
That's the point. No.
Fuck those losers. What are you doing? Step
That's
the spread up.
Fuck you tier.
That's the fuck you tier.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's like you don't really care.
We love it all.
You can afford more and you know it. What are you doing?
All right.
Cool. Peace, love, and magic, y'all.
Love you guys.